Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello to our lecturer. My name is Atika Kaisara. Along with my group members Pak Yun Sin and Edward Tianjani, we would like to present about our project titled House Prices in Malaysia. So, as for introduction, in recent years, Malaysia has witnessed fluctuations in house prices due to economic uncertainties, changes in housing loan policies, and shifting preferences towards urban and suburban living. These changes are especially important to monitor as they directly affect the affordability and accessibility of these home ownerships for the citizens. So our job is to analyze house prices across different states in Malaysia using a dataset that has been compiled for the year 2025, and the analysis focuses on understanding how factors such as location, property type, number of rooms, and size influence the final sale price. So the dataset that we have chosen is the house price in Malaysia year 2025. The dataset is found from an online open dataset Kaggle, and this dataset contains 8 variables which are township, area, states, tenure, property type, median price per square foot, and median price in Ringgit Malaysia, as well as the transactions.
Well, I would like to explain about the hypothesis 2 sample test in our project. So we have conducted this test because we want to find that if there is a difference in the mean prices between freehold and leasehold properties. So the hypothesis statement for this test is that the null hypothesis is mean 1 equal to mean 2, where the mean 1 is the mean of the median prices for freehold properties, while the mean 2 is the mean of median prices for leasehold properties. So the alternative hypothesis is mean 1 is not equal to mean 2. So using the RStudio, we have get a test statistics like that. From here, we can tell that the median price for the freehold properties is much higher than the leasehold properties. And we has also find the test statistic value where T is equal to 7.2. And the degree of freedom DF is equal to 1,762.2. And the P value is also found, which is very, very, very close to 0. So in conclusion, since the P value, which is very close to 0, is much less than 0.05, the null hypothesis has H0 is rejected. And there is sufficient evidence to support the claim that there is a difference between in the mean prices between the freehold and leasehold properties. So besides, we have also used the correlation test to test if there is a linear relationship between the median prices and median prices per square foot of properties. So as for the hypothesis statement, the null hypothesis is P equal to 0, where P represents the population correlation coefficients. And then the alternative hypothesis is P not equal to 0. And using the RStudio, we have get a graph like this. So from this graph, we can tell that there is a positive linear relationship in the graph because it is a positive slope here. So using the RStudio, we have get the correlation coefficient R, which is equal to 0.749. And this indicates that there is a moderate positive linear relationship. And we also find that the test statistic value T is equal to 79.8, and the degree of freedom DF is equal to 1,940. And the P value, which is very, very close to 0, is also found. So in conclusion, since the P value is significantly smaller than the significance level, which is 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected. This provides sufficient evidence to support the claim that there exists a moderate positive linear correlation between the median price and median price per square foot of the properties in Malaysia. And also, we have used the regression test to find that if the areas with higher transaction volume tends to have higher or lower house prices. So as for the hypothesis statement, we have set the null hypothesis is beta 1 equal to 0, where the beta is represent the population subcoefficients. And the alternative hypothesis is beta 1 is not equal to 0. So using the RStudio again, we have generate this graph. So from this graph, there's a almost horizontal line. So this has indicates that there is no significantly relationship between the transaction and the median house price. And also, using the R Studio, we have found that the coefficient of determination, which is R squared, is equal to 0.009%. And the test statistic value T is equal to 0.42. And the degree of freedom DF is equal to 1,940. And the p-value is 0.675. So in conclusion, since the p-value is significantly higher than the significance level, the null hypothesis is feel to be rejected. So this shows that there is no sufficient evidence to support the claim that there exists a linear relationship between the median price of properties and the transaction numbers of the properties.
So for the next technique, I would like to talk about chi-square, test of independence. We would like to identify is there a significant difference in the frequency of transactions among different property types, or are transactions evenly distributed across all types. So for the hypothesis statement, the null is the proportion of transactions is the same across all property types, and its alternative would be at least one of the probabilities is different from the others. Next. So for the formula would be chi-square or x-square equals to the sum of the square difference between the observed value and the expected value divided by the expected value. And its degree of freedom would be k minus 1. In this case, k would be 46. So the test produced a chi-square or x-square of 769,266 with 45 degrees of freedom and a p-value less than 2.2 times 10 to the power of negative 16. This extremely small p-value, which is almost to the zero, provides strong evidence against the null hypothesis, indicating that the distribution of property transactions is not uniform across the various categories. In the conclusion, we reject the null hypothesis, which means that there is a sufficient evidence to conclude that the number of property transactions significantly varies between categories. This finding highlights that the certain property types or regions are transacted more or less frequently than others and may reflect differences in demand, affordability, and market preference.
Now I will talk about the ANOVA test. So from this test, we are trying to find whether if there's a significant difference in the mean median price per square foot among the different states. So based on our hypothesis statement, we can see that our null hypothesis shows that mean 1 equals to mean 2 and then it equals to mean 3 until mean 16, where the mean represents the mean of the median price per square foot of the properties. And then we have the alternative hypothesis where H1 equals to at least one mean is different. So next, I will talk about the test statistic. So from our test statistic, we have the significance level of 0.05, and it is used to test whether the properties are in different states have different mean of the median price per square foot. So from the analysis in our R Studio, we found out that our test statistic value is 56.09 and the degree of freedom is 15. So from that, we can get our p-value, which is significantly lesser than 0.05. So from that, we can conclude that the null hypothesis is rejected because there's sufficient evidence that supports the claim that there is a significant difference in the mean median price per square foot among the different states. To conclude the whole project, in summary, we found out the analysis of the 2025 Malaysian house price datasets reveals that factors such as location and property type influence the prices of the properties. And then we also have done many statistical tests to confirm that the freehold properties are generally more valuable than the leasehold ones, and the house prices are vary greatly by states. And certain properties types are also more actively traded, while median price and price square foot are closely related, the number of transactions are not strongly impact the price levels. So that's all from our group. Thank you.